Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's well. Hi, Ash. Thanks for joining me.
No problem. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Very good, man. Thanks for having me on once again. It's a pleasure to be
here. No problem. Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. Did you catch the game today?
Unfortunately, I missed the first half.
That's not a bad thing.
A part of the second half. I caught most of the second half. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it was an interesting game, to say the least, which we will touch on. Let's just first see who's in the chat. Ellie's in the house, or she was. I'll tune in this time. Not going to miss you again, Kate. Love Ash. He's so great to talk to, always honest and true to himself. Ashley's got a fan club. Look at that. Drula. Hi, Kate and Ash, and all who join in the chat. Hi, Drula. Hi, Kate, Ashton, fellow Spurs. Hi, husband. And Wayne Bonner, good afternoon all. Hope everyone's well. Enjoyed the game. Yes, we did. Right, so it ended 3-2. What did you make of it, Ash, in general?
I thought it was a big contrast between how we was playing last season in general, because I know we were under different management at different parts of the season, and it was more, from what I saw, more attacking. Even though under Mason we was attacking, but yeah, I just felt like we were a lot higher up the pitch to start off with, from what I saw, and it just completely changed the landscape and the way our players operated in certain positions. So for me, players that a lot of people were writing off, they're now having to scratch their heads and have a second look. And when you're looking at Post, when you're looking at him, Big Ange, he wanted to bring everyone on tour to have a proper look at them. I think now, looking back at the game, I think that was the right decision to do. You know, quite a few people were upset that certain players were brought along to the tour, but now he's got fresh eyes to look at everyone in the flesh. You can look at them on the videos as much as you want. You can read articles on them as much as you want, but now he's seeing them in a real game situation where it's no longer in training, it's under pressure. So when you're against another opposition and they're trying to press you, they're trying to win the ball back, how are you performing in that real time game opposition? So I thought it was really interesting to see how the team shaped up under Ange, and the way I saw it, I came on and it was 2-0 when I logged on, first of all. So when I watched the game, it was 2-0, but all I could see was Spurs on the ball, and I was very excited. I can't lie. I was trying to come with a skeptical eye, but because we had the ball so much, and I wasn't used to seeing us with so much possession, especially like lesser teams, like teams against West Ham. I remember we beat West Ham last season at home, but we also, away from home, we drew them away from home as well. And both games, I wouldn't say we were completely dominant. So this game I was coming in with an open mind, and I knew that West Ham had a pre-season game underneath their belt, so they were going to be a lot sharper than us, much more fitter than us. And I do concede the fact that we changed to starting 11, so we had another fresh set of players, so we were going to be a little bit more intense than them. But in terms of style of play, I wasn't used to seeing us making runs off the ball. Normally we have possession, so under Mason we had possession, but it was more like the movement off the ball, the options as well. The amount of options you could pass to, I thought that was quite impressive. I felt like normally where we would get dominated in the middle of the park, I thought we were dominating that area. Essentially, we were quite good with the ball. We wasn't losing possession as well. Like, we weren't needless with possession. Every possession I saw when I was watching the game, it kind of led to something. So I think that was the biggest spark for me. I was like, wow, we're actually getting the ball, passing the ball forward, and it's not always the same person having a shot. It's different players that are contributing into and that was a standout thing for me because, normally you just look for your front three and the creativity is normally coming from the wing backs. But how this one differed for me is because, we had wingers out wide, similar to what the wing backs were, but it wasn't always a cross into the box. Yes, we could cross it into the box, but sometimes we kind of went to the byline. We went close to the box and we did little cutbacks. And I thought that when we were doing that type of football, we were actually quite more successful in terms of creating chances. So that impressed me. A lot of people were scared going into this game defensively that we were going to be awful. But obviously, I saw one goal that was conceded, which was really bad, where it was between Sanchez and Emerson. The ball kind of got played through them, and Davies, to be fair. Between the three of them, the ball kind of broke from Højbjerg because he had 2 bites at it. The second one, the West Ham player got the second ball, he won that, and then it was a through ball. It was an easy through ball. And defensively, I just felt because it was on a knife edge, it was 2-2. I think we were really going for it. I think we switched defensively. And I heard Ange talk in his press conference, his post-press conference. He was actually saying, the set pieces were his fault. He's going to take responsibility and accountability for that, which I like, because that's different as well, that we've got a manager now that saying, you know what, my bad. Normally, you wouldn't really hear that. You might not hear, depending on what manager you have. We don't have a manager to say, like, I messed up on that bit. But I like that fact that he said, he was working on possession, working on the ball. But set pieces we haven't worked on. And I hold my hand up. That was my fault. But I think really as well, when we have the ball, what Ange normally likes is one of the centre backs to kind of be a bit defensive minded because everyone else is pushing high up, and the other one to kind of help with the attacks. And I saw that a lot. I saw Sanchez particularly. I'm not a fan of Sanchez because for obvious reasons defensively. I think he's not the greatest. But today on the ball, I thought he really got forward at times. He really did contribute coming forward. Him and Emerson. I want to mention the fullbacks especially, because I felt like the fullbacks, what happened with the fullbacks, normally we're used to seeing wingbacks go high and wide. These fullbacks came in and they were making a run a little bit later, which kind of like West Ham didn't have an answer for. So that's the reason why I can't really say, this is the man of match. I know that question's probably coming, like, who's your best player? Or who's the individual standout? But you can still answer. You can still ask me that. I don't mind. But for me, it wasn't about that. It wasn't about that. It was about the cohesiveness and the performance. And he hasn't had a lot of time with them. So you can only imagine when he does get a few more training sessions in, when he does get a few more friendlies in, you know what I mean? And even at the start of the season, we're going to stutter. And he said it already. He said, we're going to stutter. We're not going to be perfect. So this, for me, the pre-season, I'm not studying the transition of the first season. That's how I'm looking at it, because it's going to be like between now and Christmas, you're just going to see bits of Conte, but you're going to see bits of Ange. That's what I saw. I saw stuttering. Like, it was like, it's spring. The season's changed. You get a bit of rain, you get a bit of sun, thunder, hailstorm, rainbows. There's a whole mishmash of things. So I saw that in the game today. And coming back to those fullbacks, I just thought that because the fullbacks were in that kind of midfield position, it kind of stopped West Ham from progressing out, if that makes sense. So a lot of people look at that game and be like, no, West Ham set up defensively. I don't think they did. I think the way the team was set up is because we're so high up, we actually had them pinned back a lot of the time. And that's the reason why we had possession so much. And when we lost the ball, we were able to win it back in midfield. And on top of that, we had Sarr, from what I saw, winning the ball back alongside Emerson. He was winning the ball back alongside GLC at times, was winning the ball back. So you had like different players trying to win the ball back high up. And then we were asking different questions. So sometimes players would try to switch the play. Sometimes we go direct right into Richarlison. Sometimes we would do 2-touch. Like the actual goal we scored, I thought it was like 2-touch, 1-touch football, which was brilliant to see. Because, again, it's not something we've been privy to. So Between even like Divine, he's a youngster, but he didn't look like he was out of place. He didn't look like he was underdeveloped, that he'd be out muscled by a West Ham player that's a seasoned pro. He looked quite comfortable, even though we all know that he's not a winger. You could tell he was making the right decisions. I think his decision making was perfect. And that's the reason why he looked good out there, because he knew when to come inside, he knew when to go out, he knew when to cross it, he knew when to cut back. And he just helped the overall play, and he moved it along quickly. With Sarr, I think his decision making at times could have been sharp if being ultra critical, because there was a time where I felt like he needed to pass, he would force a shot, and then he would kind of skew wide, or he hit the target, but it wasn't like with any conviction. But again, I think it's down to the positioning of the players, the front line. Sometimes they need to make better choices, better runs to create spaces to open up so he can do those better passes. But overall, I thought Sarr was box to box. He was high energy, had a good engine on him. The Doji the same. I think because we've got a lot of athletic players now in the team, they're able to burst forward, and then they're able to kind of get back as well and then win the ball back. And so it feels like the midfield is packed for some reason. Before, we had two midfielders, like double pivot. And they were both like, they had the mindset where they wouldn't take a lot of risks. They were risk averse. So a lot of the time, because we were so deep in the pitch and the centre back was so deep and the wing back started deep, we were playing out from the back really deep. And then that transition, no one was really far forward to kind of pass out, if that makes sense. So that's the reason why we couldn't get up the pitch as quickly at times in seasons gone by. But this season now, I felt like because the whole team was just higher up, it's put less pressure on those centre backs to make mistakes, and they just all look comfortable. I think the most important thing for me was they looked hungry. And they looked like they were full of energy, and I feel like they enjoyed the football. Like they didn't want it to end, Like I think that's the reason why lots of fans got behind it. It wasn't so much that obviously the result wasn't what we wanted, and obviously the defensive things are glaring. It's in your face. You can't ignore them. Do you know what I mean? But and I'll get to the negatives. But for now, I mean, no, I will. I mean, but for now, like you look from what I saw in the second half. I look back. I look at the statistical data of the first half to see what happened, and it kind of married with the first half. Like so, the first half we had 12 shots in total, and we had 7 shots on target, 1 off target, 4 shots blocked. 72% possession. So for me, we went 2-0 down. Obviously, it is what it is, but against the kind of player, it looks like they've scored those goals. And in the second half, we've had 72% again, but we've had 20 shots. So we've improved. We've improved on that statistic. We've had 6 shots off target, 6 on target, 8 blocked. So it's even increased the amount of attacking impotence that we had. The potency was higher. So for me, there's signs there's definitely signs for improvement. But again, I'm not going to be too critical in this pre-season because they're all learning the roles, where to be. And I think Andy alluded to it. Sometimes, they didn't know what position to be in, especially in the first half. They're talking about like some players might get in each other's way, and because they're learning a new system, 1 or 2 are new. Because I think we started with like the 3 new summer signings they started. So that's going to be inevitable, right? If you were playing with a new teammate or someone works into the office new, you might end up, doing the same job by accident, and then you're realizing, oh yeah, this is my job, and then you learn each other's roles. I know that Kane obviously played alongside Maddison before, but I think as time goes on, maybe Kane would trust Maddison if he's still here, of course, but. That's another debate again. But with time, maybe Kane stays up top and he stretches to play. I think as bad as maybe people might be saying Richarlison or poor as Richarlison was, the fact that he was able to be high up, be that front man, press a little bit better than what maybe Kane was doing. I'm guessing here. Don't quote me on this, but because he was higher up the pitch, he was able to stretch the pitch a bit more, make the pitch a bit bigger, and we had something to aim at, and that created more space in the middle, and that made us create more chances for other teammates. For what I did see, Richarlison sometimes, like obviously his runs weren't always the best, and he caught himself offside a couple times. But sometimes when he did pull wide, kind of box area, he was able to cut the ball back, and it led to a chance for Perisic. I saw him cut the ball back to Lo Celso. I think if Lo Celso had a better touch, he might have finished it, but he had to pull it back to Richarlison, and Richarlison had a shot that was on target. But also, I think with Richarlison, the problem he has at the moment is positionally to work on his striker role, where to be. And to be fair to him, he only played it once in a Tottenham shirt last season up front. So this is the second time in a Tottenham shirt playing up front. So we have to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think. But I think, secondly, his first touch could be sharper. His passing lets him down. So that ball he plays into Lo Celso, he kind of overcooks it. If he kind of puts a better weight of pass onto Lo Celso could hit that first time, or his touch could be better, so he can set himself for a shot. And that happened quite a few times. I felt like Richarlison was kind of, I think he's so eager to impress, he's not doing the basics right. So there's certain times he's in on goal, but because he's so eager to get on the ball, he's leaning back a bit. Instead of being strong on the ball, putting his head over it, his arm over, like, you know what Kane does? He puts his shoulder across the player. Like, steady himself, take his time, get it off. He's leaning back, and then he's shooting, it's going over the bar. He's trying to do a bicycle kick, it come off his shin. So every little thing that, you know, that you need as a striker, those simple but small important details, he's missing out because he's trying to do the most. Do you know what I'm saying? So if he can kind of slow it down.
Yeah. I was going to say, if he can score a couple, maybe his confidence will build and it start sort of being easier into the game. Do you know what I mean? Because he seems like he's trying a bit too hard.
Yeah, if he slows it down, I think the best strikers, they're able to slow it down and that like kill it. They're like sharks. They see their prey, they home in, and then they strike. Where he's trying to hustle and muscle, and that's his type of game. He's South American, hot-headed, Brazilian kind of. He wants to get in your face. He wants to be everywhere. I feel like in certain moments that's good, and it's good that like pressing and causing nuisance defenders and creating chances for your teammates. But at times when he's in front of goal, he just needs a little bit more composure, and he needs to just take time to get his shot off and set himself and just have his balance. Because where he's falling over and he's just slightly off balance, defenders will use that to their advantage, and they'll know how to like defend against them. And I think that's where the difference between him and Kane is. Kane, either foot, hard angles, like Kane will shoot from an acute angle, whereas Richarlison kind of needs more of an opening. He needs more clear chance, more clear cut. But we were creating them, and he was creating for others. Which was the point I'm making. The fact that he was able to press, lead the line, it wasn't essential, left, right. He was asking a lot of questions, brought Lo Celso in, brought in like Sar's getting shots now. Divine even had a shot. Imagine that. Divine's first start, second half. And again, like, this is a snapshot. This is just a snapshot of things to come. Because I feel like Andrew was alluding to, he was saying like they haven't quite got it yet. And maybe like in the first half, he maybe alluded to that, like maybe that's what he wanted them to be kind of more gung-ho. We're so used to being conservative, to tell someone to be like, you know, extrovert in like one night, it's not going to happen. It's going to take a lot of time, I feel. And the statistics, they reflect that. But yeah, what did you think of the game?
Yeah.
My reception. Can you hear me?
Is it me or is it you? It's probably me. My internet is so crap.
It might be both of us.
Am I back? I think it was me.
It's cool, man.
Good. I was going to say, you didn't see the first half, did you?
No, so I didn't see the first half. I tried to watch some highlights. And obviously the highlights don't paint full picture. But I did see the little run that the Sumo made. Go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say the Reguilón and Solomon partnership was absolutely lovely to see. They really linked up well together.
That's positive.
So that's a promising sign.
Yeah, that's positive. That's positive. I just know that defensively, I've never had doubts about Reguilón going forward with the ball. But defensively, I always had my question marks about him, whether he's physical enough, if he has tenacious enough to be like a fullback, you know what I mean, as opposed to an attacking fullback. That's what he is, an attacking fullback. But in terms of like a fullback, as in terms of like a defender, is he tall enough? Is he good in the air? Is he physical enough? Does he smell the danger? Does he have his body in the right position to intercept or to create, to cut off passing lanes? Like, I'm just not sure that that's in his kind of makeup or that's in his locker. So, like, yeah, going forward, I'm pretty sure that like Regs got that. But yeah, it's a shame I didn't see that partnership. I really wanted to see Solomon.
I mean, he looked good going forward, but defensively, he was crap.
Yeah, which makes sense. I think that's the reason why he was Reguilon anyway was sent on loan for that by Conte. He probably saw that defensively kind of he may switch off at times, especially like we can see the goal from set pieces between him and Porro. They're both quite short, so having them on the same pitch is kind of a weakness. So you kind of want on set pieces, you want the taller, bigger players. You know what I mean? Because in this league, you're going to get loads of balls over the top. You're going to get loads of crosses. So you're going to need to be able to defend those crosses from all angles. And I feel like Reguilon, he kind of lacks that defensive side to him. But going back to Solomon.
Sorry, Ash, my internet's been a nightmare.
That's all right. Going back, if you can hear me, going back to Solomon.
Sorry, my internet's playing up. Like, yeah, no, going back to Solomon, I didn't see him. Obviously, I missed the first half. But I heard like he's a different profile to kind of like Son, like, in terms of how he dribbles, his dynamism. Not to say Son's not dynamic, because that like Son likes to run back and make diagonal runs and then put on his shot. I saw one shot from Solomon. He shot from outside the box, and it reminded me of Son. Obviously, we've seen his goals. A lot of his goals have come like that. So that was quite exciting. But I can't wait to watch the next game to see a lot more of him, see what he offers, what he brings to the game. Because that's something we could look at. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's definitely a good alternative from what I've seen.
Yeah. What did you think of?
Let me go out and come back, Ash. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I'll be waiting. I'll be here.
I'll let you take control.
Yeah, cool, man. No, I was gonna say, once you go and come out, I was gonna say about Basuma. Like, I was disappointed that I missed him. I really wanted to see what Basuma offered. A lot of people had question marks whether he could be a 6, and also last season he didn't have a great introduction to life under Spurs. So I'm hoping that, you know, off the back of this performance, he looked a lot happier as well. I must say, when I did see him, he looked happy, smiling. He's posting a lot on Instagram. Even at the back end of last season, he was saying that he wants to give his all to the club. And that's really what you want to hear from your players. They just want to play for the badge. They want to do their best. And from the little give and go I saw, it was beautiful to see from Basuma, because we know that's his game. We know he's got a lot of energy. We know he's got a big engine. We know his first touch is good. He's brave. He's not afraid to have the ball in tight space or tight areas. He doesn't mind taking a player on. And I'm just thinking, I'm looking at what Ange had at Celtic with his number 6. And his number 6 was Callum McGregor. And Callum McGregor wasn't your traditional 6 defensive midfielder where he wins the ball, you know, and kind of just sits there. Because a lot of people are looking at a defensive mid, like Spurs need a defensive mid that just literally sits in this discipline. When I saw McGregor, he didn't strike me as a midfielder that was, you know, disciplined and just sat. I felt like he was a box-to-box midfielder, for being honest, and a one that could tackle. He often kind of won the ball back, but he never just sat and was happy to sit and be disciplined in that position. So I'm seeing that from Basuma's point of view. He's someone that can receive the ball in a half turn, can distribute the ball left and right. He's got long balls in his locker, has got medium passes in his locker, can link the play, can run with the ball, and when needed, he can actually shoot as well, as was demonstrated today. So I'm interested to see what type of six, because if you look at it, like you look across the board, Man City in Rodri, I don't think they have a typical number 6 in Rodri. I don't think he's disciplined and just sits. Yeah, he does mop up, but at times he contributes, gets forward, and has a few shots. The amount of passes he has, I think he had the most passes in the Premier League last season, and that's a 6. I think the 6 is going to be more of a dictator. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Basuma. I'm just waffling on, guys, whilst Kate sorts herself up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because I remember when Stellini was talking about off the back of the 6-1, sorry, Newcastle loss, and he was talking about defensive frailties, and he got really frustrated. He was like, "But if you look at Man City, you could say they're a great defensive team. They don't concede too much. If you look at Arsenal, they don't concede a lot of goals." So I'm just starting to think maybe the style of defending that we're going to do is going to be more, because we're higher up the pitch and we win the ball higher up the pitch, we're going to defend in a different way. I'm not saying that you don't need a certain profile defender that loves to tackle and loves to intercept, etc., etc. But I just feel because we're going to have the ball, especially against the lesser side anyway, against the biggest teams, it's going to be a different debate altogether, because we'll see how we fare, because I'm not sure if we're going to be able to press the big teams like, you know, how Pochettino used to press. Pochettino used to press like relentlessly, but I feel like the rules came off of that, because a lot of the players they came older and they weren't able to press in that particular system. And you have seen it with Liverpool last season. A lot of the players weren't able to press as much or as well as they were before when they first started off. And as a result of that, because their midfield aged, they had to get one of their fullbacks to invert in Trent Alexander-Arnold. They used to have the 2 wing backs, and he used to be relentless, a bit like to us with Danny Rose and Kyle Walker. But because their team aged, the pressing wasn't working, teams found it easier to play through them. But I think with a new midfield, Liverpool now, they're going to be able to revert back to what they was. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't even know if I'm still alive. I'm just talking. Let me know in the comments, guys, as well. Let me talk to you guys for a bit. What are we saying? Let me read out some comments, because I'm just chatting right now. Let me say, hold tight to Jim, Spurs till I die. Let's big up El Cockrell, Wayne Banner in the chats as well, Carl Simpson. Yeah, Ash Basuma was immense and he was everywhere. Great. It's great to hear, man. I like to hear like a midfielder being a midfielder. That's what you want. You want to see a midfielder just dominating that middle of the park. Tequila 316. So we finishing in top 4 then. Not in my opinion. I still think this is a transitional season. I think when you think about it, I'm not going to compare him to what happened with Arteta and Arsenal. You know, it took them 2 seasons. They had 2 finishes at 8th, but you could see the pattern of play. You could see the style of play Arteta wanted to play under Arsenal, and you just need to get the right players in. So I feel we're like in a building stage at the moment where I'll be happy with a 6th. I said before, you know, when Ange first came in, that's the 8th. That's what I'm expecting, because that's how much work was needed. This is before Madison came in, etc. But I think if we actually do get centre backs, and I don't know the situation with centre backs at the moment. But if we manage to get some centre backs in, I think 6 is a realistic. A 6 is realistic. 4th, I'll be so amazed if we got 4th. I'll be real. But yeah, man. Just the girls, Kate. Go, and hold tight, Kate, because this is her doing it by herself. She's being brave, and sometimes you need a show to kind of go left, go right. And so she's learning right now on the job, as am I. I'm trying to hold up as well. So give us a few minutes, guys. I'm going to keep reading out the comments because I'm trying to learn what happened in the first half myself. Wayne Boner says, I like Divine. He may be just a kid, but he's got a mature mind. He's going to shine in the next 2 years. So what do you think about Divine, guys? Do you think he's someone that we keep for this season, or do we loan him out? And if we do keep him, is it a thing where we don't need to buy out anyone else? Do we let like Alex Scott go to Wolves because he's strongly linked with them? I feel like today, if Bayern was played out wide, I would like to see him in the middle. You know, if Lo Celso still wants to go and he doesn't want to play for the club, why not? Let's put Divine in. Saying that as well, coming back to Højbjerg, because Højbjerg came on, and it's a mixed bag. The Højbjerg debate's interesting because I was one of those who's not a fan, but like I'm happy to be wrong about players. And what I saw from Højbjerg today with the ball going forward, he was quite progressive. He passed the ball forward at times. He left a few through balls. I saw. He was quite positive.
Am I back?
You are back, girl. You're back. You're back in the back. You're back. Yeah. You're gone now. You're gone now. But yeah. So I think every player right now has to be looked on again. You know, I would look upon him again. I'll give him another look. I wouldn't throw anyone out just yet. This is excluding the defenders, by the way. I'm not putting the defenders into this debate. Said Ash, the weather is crap. She should not be long. Cool, no problem. I have my eye. Carl's got his eye on a trophy. What are you saying, Kate? Eye on a trophy, or
I'm back. Am I back?
You're back. You're back and I'm back. You're back.
I've had to put it on my phone. My computer's decided to have an absolute meltdown. Ash, I'm so sorry. How embarrassing.
It's happened to me before. I've done the same thing. I've had to like shut my computer down and just come back on the phone.
Yeah.
So I've had that before.
I feel so guilty. It should be called Just a Boy Who Loves Spurs.
Man, sometimes you gotta hold it down, man, for the team.
Yes, thank you. I heard what you said about Divine. I think he looks very promising. I think what you said was spot on. He didn't look out of place at all.
Yeah. I like to see him in position. I like to see him in midfield. Lo Celso's not going to be here.
Yeah.
I thought put in a good shift today. I thought he was really positive. Thought he held on to the ball very well, carried it well, passed well, came into the box at times. I think Lo Celso, like, he's changed a lot of fans' minds. The only thing I say about Lo Celso is his injury record's not the best, not the greatest.
No, he did look bright today, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
I also have to say I thought Romero looked average at best today.
Yeah. I didn't see him.
I don't like to be a negative Nancy, but I thought
it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. I thought he was really poor today. He was useless in the air.
Yeah, I think that's been one of his biggest weaknesses. I think that's why a player like people hate Emerson Royale covers up for a lot of his weaknesses. So a lot of the time teams will play over the top because they know Romero's short. He's not the greatest in the air, but when you've got 6 foot plus Emerson Royale behind you, he's able to like fill in and help you out. But if you've got Emerson Royale and Porro and you've got Reguilon, it's just 3 short man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Short man syndrome going on.
Yeah. I was also going to say what I thought my 4, I wasn't going to pick a player that's outstanding, but my 4 standouts for me, I watched the first half more closely than I saw the second, I've got to be honest. But my 4 standouts for me were Udogie, or Udogie. I like calling him Udogie, though, because I've got dogs. Udogie, Basuma, Maddison, and who was the other one? Udogie, Basuma, Maddison, and hang on, let me check my notes. I can't even remember. I'm all of a flutter because everything's gone out the window. I can't even remember who I wrote down.
Perisic? The first half. Solomon, then.
Solomon, that's it.
Yeah.
Those were my 4 standouts. And I think in the second half, from what I'm gathering, Sarr was pretty good. So. Yeah,
I mean, I thought Perisic was very busy.
Yeah.
I thought Perisic was very busy on that left-hand side. I think him being as a winger, as opposed to having to track back Because when you're a wing back, I think the difference between a wing back and a winger is a wing back, you start a lot further back. You've got a lot more defensive responsibility.
Yeah.
So essentially, you're a defender. But I think as a winger, I think Perisic was able to defend higher up the pitch. Was able to get on the ball a lot more, and you kind of saw the best of Perisic. I think it's, me. If I'm being critical, I just don't like sometimes those balls that he hangs up at the back stick, because I think it's easy to defend. Keepers can read it, they can catch it, so it kind of like depletes our attack. But when he kind of stands up his man, cuts back, cuts a ball back, or links play, I think he's absolutely amazing. The only thing that was missing from him was a few more shots, but he was getting inside the box, getting on the end of things. I was just like, yeah, you know what? He does look too bad either. He's a man I thought he was done. I thought, yeah, he's coming in for his retirement check for any time now. So
yeah. Thing is, we can't look too much into it. It's the first game under Ange. It's the first pre-season game. But after seeing it, despite the result, I feel positive. To see us play that front foot, flowing football. I mean, we come straight at the blocks. We were straight on West Ham. They couldn't get the ball off us for the first 5 minutes. We was unlucky, really, that we conceded. So, to me, that gives me hope. Hope.
I think as well, just to add to that, and I think this was my kind of thought going into this, that even if we don't win, like we don't get the result we want, we're going to have a go. We're going to have a go. Not as simple as that. We're going to have a go. We're going to create chances. We're going to give, it's not going to be easy for teams that's going to come and roll us over. And I'm talking about not just your West Ham, I'm talking about your Chelseas, your Liverpools, your Man Uniteds, your Arsenals. Like before, we were under certain management, we would sit back, kind of absorb the pressure, and if we got one goal in front, then we would try to sneak it out.
Yeah.
Now I feel like under the system, under this regime, I feel we might be behind or we might be in front, but we're still going to push on. We're still going to have the ball, and we're still going to attack them. And I think that's really exciting. And just to kind of deviate a little bit, one of my biggest gripes under Conte, I'll say it, was the rotation of players and the rotation for substitutions.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like a lot of the times we became stale because our only outlet was the wing backs, because the front three were so close to each other that we relied on the creativity coming from out wide. And teams figured that out and were able to just have a nice line of defense, maybe 5 or 4, and they could just defend against us quite easily. Now, I feel like if we need to make a change and bring on 5 substitutions, that's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see the timing, though, because, it was a massive change when Ryan Mason did it. I think Ryan Mason tinkered with it at the wrong time. He had the right idea, but the timing was a bit wrong, and the players he brought on was wrong. So, for example, he brought on Lucas Moura for Porro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Porro was playing well. And then so we literally played Lucas Moura at wing back. And then that's when we conceded the goal, his first touch. And then it just kind of went, and then Everton sending off. So there were certain times, I know that wasn't him, but there were certain times when I just thought decision-making was a bit poor. And that's when you need a bit more experience. And I feel like that's what Ange could possibly bring us.
Yeah. Ash, you've got a request. Have you seen?
No. What's that? Bobby Day. If they can blow me a kiss, why can't you? No, I can't, so bro.
He's so needy.
That guy, bro. I'm just not that guy.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, it's not really a negative, but the only thing I think this shows is that we're desperate for centre-backs, and hopefully Levy will see that and get his finger out, because I think if you put 2 or 3 world-class defenders in that team, it's actually looking pretty decent.
Yeah, I think like the whole reason why I was leaving out was because of this. This is before, like I've always been very upset with the chairman, the way we conducted business, because he does this style thing where and it's a style, it's clear style, because even last season when I had a bit more hope with Paratici, I was thinking, right, we've got a new football director, and Levy's going to sit back and he's going to leave the football to him. But when it came to negotiations, it was still long-winded, where we waited it out, sat on the player. Jed Spence springs to mind. I remember last season we did quick business, a bit like what we did this season, quick business, and it got to a player that we really desperately needed, an area we desperately needed, and then we just sat on it. We just sat on it. We just waiting game. And that frustrates the hell out of me. I know, like, for me, I understand why he does it, because you're trying to push the price down, and then you're trying to look at other options to kind of convince the team that, we're the only one in the market for your player, and that's how we're going to get the price down. That's his negotiating style. But there's so many times when it hasn't worked. So, and then because it hasn't worked and the club hasn't budged, then what happens is another club, brings up interest, because that's the style as well. That's the tactic from the other club. And they try to drum up interest, like, we've got this player, someone else is looking at, do you want him? And they start offering out to other clubs, and then before you know it, another club might actually buy it, and then we lose out on our main target. And then what happens is we have to go for another target, but it wasn't quite the profile that we actually needed. Still making sense?
Yeah.
So that's what, for me as a fan, really frustrated me, and it's like deja vu. It's happened over again. It's happened so many seasons. I'm now numb to it. Do you understand? And it's not in our hands. It's not in our control. It's in someone else's control. I think that's the frustrating thing about it. We knew who the targets were from the get-go. So I'm not going to moan about it. I'm not going to, because it's not going to do anything, is it? It's not going to change anything. But I think that for me personally, that's all I'm going to say. For me personally, that was my biggest gripe, where there's some players where if we just got out and did the business and we got them, then that position is not just sorted for one season, it's sorted for like maybe 3 to 4 seasons. Yeah. And then who knows, you might be able to sell on and get what you want. You get your money back and more some. So there's pros and cons for the negotiating style, but I'm just not a fan of it. I think I'll just end on that.
No, I'm the same. And I mean, if you've got someone like Mickey van der Ven, he's so young, you could be looking at having him in our defence for 10 years, really. Realistically, he's only a young kid, but we're dragging our heels, and now it's coming out that there's other clubs circling like a pack of sharks, and I'm just waiting for that announcement that someone's put in the bid they want and he's going somewhere else.
Yeah, I can. And I don't want to be pessimistic about it, or I like to be. I feel like I'm a quite optimistic person. So I haven't given up hope on the deal until it's done its time. I'm not going to be overexcited, and I'm not going to be underexcited. I just wait and see what happens. I think that's the only way to look at it. You don't let the window draw you out, because that's what happens. You get sucked into it. We've got enough time to be miserable. We're Spurs fans. We're so used to it. So let's kind of enjoy this break that we have. Let's have a nice summer. And then when it comes to August, then we can have a little more. We can have a. Right now, I feel like, take everything with a pinch of salt. We don't know if every rumor is true. We don't know what's going on because we're not there. We're not the fly on the wall. It'd be interesting if we were, then we could have more of an opinion. But I guess that's what the debate shows are here for. This is why we're here talking about it.
Exactly. I mean, I'm normally quite chilled. I'm optimistic. And yesterday, I just lost my mind and had the rant of all rants. Everything just made my head explode, and I just went crazy. But I feel a lot more positive today after seeing that display. I just hope we don't get Tanganga wasn't that bad, so we don't really need to buy anyone, because he was terrible. So was Sanchez. So, but the actual Ange ball, I'm loving.
Yeah. I had a feeling that Tanganga wouldn't do too well. I know he's done well before for us. Yeah. I just looked at him properly last season, because I was like, he looks the part. Like, he's physically got the shape. Like, athletically, he's mobile. He's quick. But I remember Boxing Day, I did a watch along with Brian Daigle, and it was we were playing against Brentford. And to be fair, he started alongside. I want to say he was alongside Longley.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point was, he was against Tony. Tony, he pulled his pants down. now. On the ball, Tanganga, I've got nothing against him. Like a lot of the defenders that we have, they're actually ball playing centre backs. They can actually do it. Not to the highest level, but they're not bad. They can pass the ball. They can kind of carry it. They're not like they trip over their shoelaces in possession. But and I'm not saying they've got class crossing ability or shooting, but they're not bad. They can do the basics. But it's just when they're off the ball, it's like positionally they don't know where to be. It's those moments that you need to maybe take 2 or 3 steps to your left or to your right. There's times where you need to kind of position your hips to kind of close off the angle so that player can't see that pass. You kind of need to show your player on the weaker foot. Sometimes don't hug the player, stand off him. Sometimes hug the player, don't stand off him. There's timing as well. Knowing when to come in for. And I looked at him and I said, yes, you're not quite there. And obviously, under Conte, I thought he's a great defensive manager. He might teach him some of those things. But yeah, I just saw him got taken to school that game. Yeah. And there was another game he played where I saw him at centre back. I can't remember. I had it in my head. Now it's gone. It's annoying. But I just said, I think it was Leicester. It might have been Leicester. I'm not sure. But anyway, again, I don't know if he played left side of centre back that game. And then maybe he was out of position. But again, whatever the reason was, I saw him twice. And I said, yeah, he's not really the centre back that, defending is in his heart. Like, I feel like he's been converted slightly. But they like him because he's confident. And because I think a lot of the academy players, they get picked because if you're confident and you're not afraid to make a mistake and you're competent on the ball,
exactly,
they give you a chance. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, and I felt that's the vibe I got from Tanganga. I watched the documentary All or Nothing. I was his biggest fan. When he played in Liverpool, Mourinho gave him his chance. I was so proud. I remember his father hearing talk. I was like, "Yeah, man, that's one of my own." But it's a shame, isn't it? The way it's petered out. He just needs more. Go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say it's always a shame when you really want someone to do well, but they just don't cut it.
Yeah, and I just think he needs a loan move. That's what I was going to say. I think he needs more game time, and he needs more real time situations where he's in a situation where he has to figure it out by himself, and then someone's next to him saying, "No, maybe do this different next time in the game," as opposed to playing one game and then you're out for like 10. That's not going to help his development. So it's either we put him out on loan and he goes to Italy. I heard he's linked to Atalanta.
Yeah, he
or is. Let him stay in the Prem, which I would like. I prefer. I'm not mad at Italy because I've seen what they've done with Tomori and other defenders, Smalling. But yeah, in the Prem, at least I know he's getting. You can see him every week, and he's going to be against opposition that we're going to be against. So Luton, we're linked with him, but that was another team. So, but yeah, for me, Tanganga, aerially, no. Ground jewels, not really. Interceptions, reading the game, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% convinced, and that's what I had a sneaky feeling today that I didn't see the first half, but I wasn't convinced.
Yeah. Well, generally, I think all in all, it's been a positive start. I mean, I'm looking forward now to the next game.
Leicester.
Leicester. I'm really.
Who do you think will start?
Who do I think will start?
Will it be the same, like double twist as today, or do you think it will be mixed match, like someone that had a good performance, like I don't know, you might saw the Salesforce performance, you might sneak in, or Doji might sneak in as opposed to Reguilon.
Well, I think Kulu might lose his place. I thought he was poor today, really poor.
Quiet, was he?
Yeah.
Was he quiet, or was he on the ball? He wasn't good because there's a difference. I feel like.
He did a couple of good crosses, but you're kind of waiting for him to do something because we've seen that magic that he's got. You're waiting, and he just doesn't look right to me. He looks completely off the pace to me. But I don't know. But I wouldn't play him on Saturday.
Was he super wide or was he inverted?
No, it was what I mean. Like he was crossing the balls in from wide, and I say, he put a couple of good crosses in, but that was really about it. I thought he was generally really poor. Right. Tomorrow was disappointing as well.
I was going to say I didn't hear much people talk about him.
Yeah, but I think Sonny's got. I mean, if Sonny's ready, I think he's got to get a run out on Saturday.
Well, you said you were impressed with Solomon. So who would come on that right hand side for you? If you've got Porro not doing too well, Cooley not doing too well, who would you replace him for those two positions on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is?
I'm not sure. I mean,
Do we need to sign someone? That's another question I was going to
yeah,
ask. Do we need to go back in the market? Because if Kulu's not doing it, who comes in? Because I'm not sure. Do you think Brian's going to stay, or do you think he's gone? Do you think the back injury is legit?
I think he's going to go on loan myself. I think Ndombele's a bummer. Not that I'm particularly confident that he's going to change, but he's got an injury now, hasn't he? So Solomon's got to start. He was really impressive. He looked really impressive in the first half. And like I say, his link up with Reguilón was brilliant. It was like vintage Spurs a bit, like under the Poch, these double backs. Yeah, I quite like not knowing and seeing what Ange does, because you can see straight away it's going to be one hell of a season. It's going to be exciting. There's no doubt about it.
And so, would you, Kate? Would you possibly have placed Son on the right hand side and put someone on the left, or vice versa? Yeah. Would you do like that?
I was just looking at what I'd written. I was thinking, I wonder if Son, we could move him to the right, have Solomon on the left. Because I thought Kulu would be a definite starter, but like I say, I thought he was poor today.
What about Maddison? What was Maddison doing? Because obviously I didn't see the first half. Was he pulling out wide? Was he central? Was he in the box a lot?
He seemed to be everywhere, actually. He had a really good game. He had a couple of chances. He was holding the ball up well. I was really impressed. I like him. I really like him. I think he is going to be really good for us.
Jim says he wasn't on the ball, Ash. I think he's talking about Kulu right there. So, and someone said in the comments as well, Jim again saying Porro could go there. Porro could go there. Someone looks like he wants to do well. Do you know Spence and Rodon?
Yeah, Porro was good going forward. He's just not good at defence, but I think we kind of knew that already. Yeah, no idea why Spence and Rodon and that weren't in the squad. Maybe he start with a whole new. I don't know.
No, sorry, it's match fitness. So apparently Spence, obviously Ndombele can knock. Yeah. He said it's nothing serious. So I listened to the press conference, post press conference. He said, so yeah, Spence, fitness, and two other players. I think Dyer, as well, fitness, and someone else fitness, and Ndombele is a knock. So I think he may feature on Sunday or Saturday, whenever the next game is.
Oh, well, that's good.
So yeah, it's nothing serious. It's just that little knock he got in the warm-up yesterday, a little training session they had. And he went down in the injury, but it was nothing serious because he got back up and he assisted Kane when he got back up. So I think it was more for precaution for Ndombele. So yeah. I'm hoping we see him. But yeah, with Son, it was Son. That was it. So Son wasn't in the squad because again he had 2 games back for fitness since his. I'm not sure if he's had his operation yet or not, but apparently he's only had 2 training sessions. So
I think has he had his op? I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, he's only had 2 training sessions apparently. So he needs to get his fitness back up, and then he will. We may see him again on Saturday. So those are the options.
I was going to say, Ian said that Maddison had like a free role and looked good. That's true. He did. He just seemed to be everywhere. He was brilliant.
I feel like Maddison's got enough IQ that he knows where to find the spaces, where to be, where to open up. Because sometimes I feel like you want to be high up because he's an attacking midfielder. But if the space isn't there, he's able to drop in that kind of transition phase where he's a little bit closer to the defenders. And because you need players that are on the ball that are confident, because Skip's there, and Skip's not bad on a half turn, but he's not the best when being like, if there's 2 or 3 players around him, he's not a player that could pick the ball up and then just carry it past 2 or 3 players, or just dribble and drive the ball and just cut through defense. That's not really his game. With Maddison, his first touch opens his body up, and that might be a player, and then he will look for. Do you know what I'm saying? He would either do a short pass, long pass. He's got so many bows to his game. I felt like maybe that's the reason why he might have dropped in midfield. And he's done that at Leicester as well. He's played like second mids. He's played right mid as well as playing false nine, attacking mid, as we all know, and right wing as well. So a free role for him. I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, I think Cole is right here. He said, I think the problem for Maddison was, as Kane is so used to having to drop deep, he kept dropping him Maddison's position. So if he's staying, Kane needs to get used to playing up the top more. And Jim said, yeah, Kane did look a bit confused at times. It's going to take a little while for them to get used to this system, isn't it? Let's be fair.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying before, because I think where they have played before together at higher level in England, high level at England level, sorry. So I think between the two of them, they're going to have enough intelligence to know where to be on the pitch, and so I think there's going to be times where Kane might drop into the pocket, and then Maddison's going to run in behind, running beyond, and someone's not going to pick him up, and he's going to find a lot more shots on goal, or he may be able to do that through ball. So Kane might have a key pass, and then Maddison does the through ball that goes to Sonny or whoever's up top. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe one of the other midfielders are dropping in and scoring. So at times as well, Kane's going to just be up top. So they're going to figure it out. I think the more they play with each other, the more they're going to understand where they're going to. It's going to be like second nature. Like how Kane and Son, it's just telepathic.
Yeah.
And they don't even, like, you could throw a blanket over Son, cover Kane's eyes, and Kane's still going to have a heat seeker missile that's going to find Son. Like, he's that good. So Kane's going to be, I think he'll be able to adapt. But it was that problem, wasn't it, last season, where lots of fans were debating where Son and Perisic, whether they could work, because Perisic was ending up in a lot of Son's positions. And so people felt like Son was suffering because, we're used to seeing Son out wide. All of a sudden, you got another winger and Perisic being there. So is it the same thing with Kane and Maddison? I like to think not.
Yeah. Do you think, I was talking, changing the subject. I was talking to the Irish Hotspur last night on his fan show. Yeah. And I said that this business with Kane and whether he stays or goes, I'm wondering if it's playing on Sonny's mind, because obviously he doesn't know his wingman's going to be next season. And when this business with the City move that didn't happen, when Kane eventually came back, him and Son took a long time to get that partnership back. It took a good few games. It was like almost like they'd had a falling out. And I think Son had felt a bit left out. I just wondered if you think it's going to affect him.
I think it was a little bit different compared to the last time it happened. I think Kane was forcing the move last time. I feel like Kane's learned from that, where he tried to force him to Man City. Son wasn't happy about that. It was a bit too, and it's un-Kane-like, and we're a society where we've got a culture where, like, I don't know. Even if you want something, you need to be like humble about it. You need to go about it in the right way. And I feel like Kane being a little bit older and wiser now, he's going to be professional and just get on with things. So whether he stays here and he likes a new project, he's still going to be professional. Whether he wants to leave, he's still going to give 100% to the club until we've just done a paint on him on the wall. So I don't think he's going to, all of a sudden, act up, and Son's going to see that, because Son's quite an emotional person. He wears his heart in his sleeves, and he's kind of affected by these things you said. But I think Kane's going to be Kane. Get on with it, Mr. The captain. They gave him the armband at the end of the day. Whether that stays is going to be up for debate. But I honestly think that Son is looking up for the season. He's more confident. He had the injury last season he spoke about, and also I feel last season he was asked to do tactically something a little bit different to what he's used to. In my opinion, from what I heard as well, he said he was asked to play. He said he was tactically told to do something different. That's what he said post. I can't remember. I think it was Brighton. Post Brighton game, post match, he said that. And then also another thing was Conte came out and said, when we signed Danjuma, he said that he doesn't see Danjuma as a winger. He sees Danjuma, he doesn't see Danjuma as an 8. he sees Danjuma as more of a winger or a second striker, which led me to believe that Son was starting over Danjuma, being played as an 8, and so was Kulu.
Yeah.
So the system was Kane was the 9, and then we had 2 8s in Son and Kulu. So they played a lot closer to Kane, and that's where the space for the wing backs were created. So Son wasn't really being in that position. And then even when in terms of like that goal he scored outside the box, he said, "You've seen that from." I'm paraphrasing, by the way. He said it wasn't doing that because he was asked to do things differently. So I think he was told not to like score in those areas. I think Conte wanted him arriving in the box on the end of the wing backs crosses a lot more in the 6-yard box. And he wasn't criticizing Conte for it. He was just saying he just needs to adapt and, you know, get used to the tactics. That's all it was. But I feel like in this system, you're going to see Son a lot higher up the pitch, number one. You're going to see him, like what Perisic is doing. I think that's what you're going to see from Son. And then the shot that Solomon did, I think you're going to see that from Son a lot more. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a case of some people think with Son, he's becoming a bit predictable, like people figured him out. I just think it was slightly different tactics. And when you play players in the right positions, you see a different player in them. And I know like a lot of people say like Son's more of an inside forward now. His role's changed. He likes space, you know, to run into. But I think that was under Mourinho and Conte. They kind of like to attack the space. They like to be direct. Whereas Ange's different. His is more build-up play.
Yeah.
It's still quick, but it's just a different style where teams might be a little bit more compact, but we just move the ball a bit quicker and we attack from different angles and different ways. And I think a lot of the players that were bought under Pochettino in an attacking system, they're now returning to the style of play that they were bought for and that they enjoy it more importantly. I think it's like a thing where a lot of players will enjoy it a lot more because Lo Celso was quoted on that he wasn't happy, whatever. But then when Ange came in, I did hear him say that, you know, he might be happy staying. He actually did come out saying that. And it just goes to show, like, give a player what they want or play them in a position that they're used to playing in, and you're going to see a completely different player. So there's going to be loads of people that are going to get egg on their face for saying, you know, this player ain't going to work, this player ain't going to work, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Because they're used to seeing the player play under that manager and that style in the system. And that's why so many fans, they're like, oh my goodness, the style of play, da, 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 da. Even though we lost, it's a lot more positivity. Even like without the centre backs coming in, like, you know, it was poor. Let's face it. But still, and I was saying this last season. I said, look, there's one thing where you play poor and you win games, and it gets you over the line. But when you play poor and you lose, that's too much to take. That's a double whammy. You can't take both.
Yeah.
If you lose but play well, I think fans can get behind that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because lots of fans are arguing, oh, what about the trophies, blah, blah, blah. Because I found with a lot of fans, not all fans, just quite, I'd say like a fair majority, a fair few fans, it's black and white. They either want trophies or they want some type of success. And it doesn't work like that. And I said to some people on some channels, I said, I think fans will get behind the attacking football. I think we haven't had attacking football for so long. At the end of the day, you're going for entertainment. What else are you going for? I don't understand. What are we doing here?
Exactly.
I'm going to football to watch. You're either going to go link up with your people, your friends, your family, your boys, your girls, whatever, have a laugh and watch football, entertaining football. Goals are what kind of changes your emotion. So if we see goals go in, you know, and then you're saying, bro, you know, all we're doing, we need to tweak this, and then maybe we could. Because look, what happened with Brighton? Brighton, a good example. Before Potter came along, they weren't for attacking football or possession football. Potter came and he changed that, and he moved them up the table, and then they got De Zerbi, and De Zerbi took it to the next level. Yeah. And so he was proof that you can play good football, even though they haven't won anything. You can still play good football and get results, you know. So this whole thing where we had to choose either good football or win something, it was kind of cruel, you know. And a lot of fans said, "We bit the bullet," you know. We said, "You know what? We haven't won something for so long. We're just gonna just take the L, and we're gonna just try and, you know, do it that way where we don't play so well, but we get the result we want." And I'm not saying under the previous managers it was all, you know, bad football. It's just a different style. Like this different style. But I just felt that the players that we had for that style didn't suit that system.
Yeah, agreed.
And the chairman didn't recruit in the way that complemented the systems that those particular managers wanted. And I think that's where it failed. And I feel like the chairman wanted attacking, even though he was kind of he got roped into himself. Like he made a mistake and thought, like, oh, I just want trophies himself. I want to get the winning, get over the line. So let me just get the winning managers, the win now managers. And then when he got the win now managers, he didn't put in what they needed for it to work. And that's where his downfall was. Because secretly, he still was in love with that kind of pot style, the attacking style. So instead of him getting an attacking manager, he went for that. You saw that Amazon documentary came out of nowhere. Mourinho come out of nowhere. And I felt like it was the Jose documentary. It wasn't really the Tottenham documentary, because the amount of time that Poch got was disgusting. Like, I thought Poch would have had a lot more. I was waiting to see like how Poch was talking. I wanted to see that part. He was like one episode, and then it was all about Mourinho and Mourinho Kane, Mourinho Ali, like, you know, then the COVID situation, and then that was pretty much it. Like, and then obviously we fell off. It was good. It was entertaining. Don't get me wrong. Mourinho was entertaining, and that's what we were selling at the time. So I ate it up. But in terms of actually the club and what we needed to do, it was far from like, you know, Tottenham way, from what we want as fans. You know, we've been neglected for a long time, and I think it's only right that we get. I think we deserve good football. You know what I mean? But
we do.
I think going back to someone's comment, VH, Richarlison could have scored a brace today. Lo Celso showed his class above the current midfielders. And I go back to the point I made earlier. I just feel like I honestly think we can improve in that area up front. Even if Kane is here or not, I would honestly like to see, and whether Richarlison gets confidence or not is another thing. But I think there's better strikers out there. I'll be honest with you, because I just, from what I've seen, and even him at Everton or Watford, his passing in his first touch has never been a strong point. So his link play has never been excellent. I think his link-up play needs a lot of work. But I feel there's better strikers that have better link-up play and are faster. I feel like Spurs are missing real, genuine pace. You know, that kind of blistering, scary Mane kind of pace, like, oh my days, Tottenham are coming. You know, when we have Kyle Walker just running at you, like, that kind of. So I feel like in the wing positions, I wouldn't mind someone that's fast, or up front, someone that's fast, that can either super press from up top, centrally, or press from the wide areas. And I feel like if I'm going to add to that area, that's what I'll do. Other than obviously the centre backs, which is obvious, 2 centre backs, maybe even 3, because you want rotation where if those 2 aren't fit, you know, we're not having to replace, bring back like a Dyer, or, do you know what I mean, one of the lesser centre backs, or something like that. I would prefer 3, so we're rotating. I didn't see Romero, so I can't comment on him. I'm being honest. But yeah, we did see Tequila. Ash Poch is not box office as Jose. Amazon probably played a part in sacking. Wow, controversial. Because you know what it is. If I looked at West Ham, would you say David Moyes was box office? I don't know.
No.
There's other managers, there's other teams that have done all or nothing, and so I don't know, man. I don't know, but you got a point. I hear you. I hear it. But it's crazy. But yeah, that's my opinion of like what we would need to bring in the transfer market. I know a lot of people say Porro. I know Jim was saying Porro as a right winger.
Yeah.
My opinion of that is, although he's good, he's really good. He's very good at 1v1. Dynamically, him like kind of running back on himself and then taking a shot. Like, I'm not sure if Porro's got that kind of ability like that. I think as a wing back or, you know, from further back, he's quite good, like making those late runs, running from deep. He's good. But as a winger, scoring like maybe 10 goals, 11 goals, I think we could get someone better than Porro in. I think Porro would be really good as a fullback, coming on, doing what he does, doing a Carl Walker. Do you know what I mean? I think he'd be excellent. And I think he'll set up those goals. But as a winger, I want my wingers to be more attacking. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, you was talking about you'd love someone with pace. I used to love Aaron Lennon. It was like Gonzalez.
My guy. I was so upset when Poch got rid of him. That's when I was like, when he first got rid of him, I was so confused. I was like, oh, Poch has got to go. Poch has got to go, because he was like one of my favourite. After Bell, he was one of my favourites. And I was like, but he can press. Why are we getting Lamella ahead of he used to play Lamella ahead of Lennon? It confused me. And I thought Lennon pressed very well, dribbling style. He was just awesome. A bit like, I didn't see Solomon today, but when I did analyze Solomon, so I've done a few videos on it, that's what I saw. Lennon, like, he kind of guides with the ball, guides it, shoulder, and then goes the other way. Brings the defender close, and then has that yard of pace, and then pushes the ball and just runs into that like very good, very tight control as well, very nimble. I saw shades of Solomon with Lennon. Yeah. But I agree with you, man. That's scary. That's what we were like. That's what we used to tear teams apart. No one used to them because they were like, oh, the pace, it's horrible. And then we just needed a few destroyers, and we got that. And I just said, it worked. We were at one point we were soft. But then I think when Poch came, he made us hard. He made it a bit ugly. He gave us a bit of steel, which I liked. But it'll be interesting to see the difference between an Ange and a Poch system. I just think Poch is more aggressive in the press. I don't think Ange is as aggressive, with good reason. I feel like sometimes when you press and you do an all or nothing kind of approach, it's easier for teams to play out. Yeah. They can do long balls over you, do you know what I mean? So I think Ange is a bit more methodical with his press. And I think he's looking around. Does he have the players to play that kind of high press? Maybe not at the moment, and that's why he's working with what he's got. But he's good at fixing teams, apparently. So let's see what he does.
The point is, we nearly got through the whole stream without mentioning Dyer, but you chucked his name in there.
Ooh, sorry. Whoops.
I'll let you.
Sorry.
I'm not sure Ange can do anything with Dyer, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, with Dyer, I think it's a case of, like, for me, he's been there for 9 years.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me. I think it's time to, like, I honestly think, even like coming down to Mason, right? I've got nothing against Mason. I've seen his documentary on the performance. He came across really well on that, to be fair. And even off the back of last season, he's not the man for the job right now, but maybe seasons to come by. I think he should have gone to the Championship personally and did what Company did. But I wouldn't mind if all those old players just went. The old players, the ones from that kind of Champions League failure. I just feel like you just want new energy, new optimism, new faces, people that haven't been scarred, don't have to go through all of that. I just want a new kind of, and just like, maybe if you have Son and Kane, like one or two, but like you don't want like the lesser players, because Son and Kane are quality,
we don't need.
Well, you don't need passages, exactly. That's how I saw it. And so for me, when I heard like Mason was gonna stay, I was like, oh, he's kind of part of the old guard. I would have preferred if he just started all over again and started afresh. But he said it and said that the reason why he brought him in, and remember, Conte brought him in as well. Conte is a world-class manager. There's a reason why they brought these guys back. He must be doing something right. And I think Ange said that with Mason, he had different ideas to what he had, and he liked that. And I think he likes to be challenged. He said that he's got his idea and his way of thinking, But he liked the fact that Mason wasn't scared to say like, nah, I don't see it like this, and da 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 da. So that every time he presents something, he has to kind of, you know, prove someone else. You know, they're still working together. You know what I mean? Obviously, but he likes to bounce ideas off people, not yes man, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like Mason's got that whole stigma with the fan base with him, where you're just gonna bring your friends in again, blah blah blah. But if we're being honest, the last few games of the season, he dropped Eric Bayer, his bestie. So you can't say Mason necessarily yes man. He was talking about the mentality of the club. You know, he did speak out on that as well, saying things need to change. So, and he did play on the pitch. That's the one saving grace. Yeah. So he is about attacking football, and he did try to make us attacking as well. Well, I mean, that's just me saying both sides and how I see it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But yeah, I would have liked a whole new sweep, but I'm not mad at it. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not mad that he's still there. But yeah.
If I didn't know that Bobby Kay was joking, I would be putting him on a timeout just for that comment alone. Dear, oh dear. Give you
I big up Bobby Kay, you know. Trying to rattle people out.
Big up to everyone I missed coming in because my internet was being stupid. So thanks everyone for coming in, and I'm sorry.
When I was talking, right, I wasn't sure if the stream had ended at one point. So I was like, wow, man, waffling. I checked the comments because the comments, when you came back in, it's your show. So when you came back in, the comments started moving again. I was like, all right, it's still alive. But when you were out, the comments kind of went still. I'm like, bro, I must be waffling because no one ain't saying nothing. I started sweating. I was like, God damn, I need to have a shower.
Sorry, I should have just got onto my phone straight away. I didn't even think of it.
No, but I did the same thing. When it happened to me. And well, obviously I wasn't hosting, so what's happened to me, I've done live streams, and I'm like, bro, it's cutting out, it's mad. And I said, you know what, my phone signal's better. Let me just jump on my phone quick, and it worked out. So you just come back in. But now you know, for next time, it's all good.
I do, even though you'll be blocking me on WhatsApp. I'm never going on her show again. She's crazy, and she just leaves me in the lurch.
Tequila said I'm become angry man. Angry man talks to cloud.
Look, what? He's my son's favourite player. So either Dyer's amazing or my son's deluded. I can't afford therapy, so I choose to believe the brilliance of Dyer and his wicked drop into a knee skill.
Oh, please.
Bobby, your
son. No comment. Just leave that there. Don't say it. Don't do it.
Don't say anything, Bobby, you keep the faith.
Imagine, can you imagine, right? The whole fan base would have mud on their face if Dyer all of a sudden was like our number one centre back and we're playing well. Could you imagine?
Oh no, I can't.
Everyone will be in the mud. Everyone.
I cannot even imagine that.
No, if he fixed Dyer, I'd say give him a knighthood right away. Give him a statue straight away. Give him a statue.
Yeah, give him a statue. Well, I shall wrap it up there because I feel like I've taken up so much of your time, and you hosted my show for me, so thanks.
I would say any time, but
don't say that.
I need to kind of work on my hosting skills anyway, so it was good practice.
Well, it was excellent. I shall watch it back, and I'm going to change it to just a boy loves Spurs for today only.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. No problem. Anyway, man, it was a pleasure for me being on the show, number one. Thanks for having me on. Like I said, you're a great host. So I enjoy being here. And
your views.
Maybe one day I'll be just as good as you. Like not be there, but still be there and be as good as you at the same time. I'm winding you up.
If you don't already, people, I'm sure everyone in here does, but head over to Southview Coys. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, Southview Coys. Yeah, out, man. A view from the South Stand, the YouTube channel. Don't ask me why there's two kind of handles. There is. Just get over it.
You're great.
Different branding at different times, I suppose. But yeah, basically, you got a show on tonight. I always do transfer rumors because it's fun.
Yeah.
You know? It's fun. Sometimes I just put my head in the clouds.
Yeah.
I just want to be, one of those fans that have pure optimism that my chairman's like crazy with the money, like Ted Bowley ready to spend, or we're gonna do like a crazy, I don't know, Man City and just go crazy. I know it's all not deluded, make believe. I call it make believe. Peter Pan. It's never gonna happen, yeah. But basically, I look at the players that the papers or social media has linked us with, and I have a closer look at them to see if they would either A, fit the system, or B, if they would improve our squads. I don't always consider whether it's a realistic option, but it's just a talking point, you know. And so today we're doing 3 players, and 2 of them are up front if Kane goes, and 1 is a centre back we've been linked with as well. So yeah, if you're not too busy, Kate, you can
I will have a look.
You can tune in. It's at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay, is one of them Vlahovic by any chance?
No, I did Vlahovic last week.
Ah.
I did Vlahovic last week. And we had Iggy on from Tottenham, where he's Italian specialist. Serie A, that's his bag. So that was the whole theme of the show. We did all Serie A players. So Amrabat, Vlahovic, Chiesa, Roma, you name it.
Well, it really is a wish list show.
It's a transfer special show. It is. It's like Sky Sports transfer, just for Spurs.
Excellent.
So yeah, if you guys are on it, yeah, come along.
Yeah, I will do for sure. Thank you so much for coming on and jumping in when my computer had a meltdown.
No problem.
And thank you everyone for watching, and roll on the next game.
Yes.
Yeah, in Ange we trust.
In Ange we trust. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.